awful. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing up your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. The great and diverse be our ethnicities. The bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love. We dance and we play. We relate to
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up a telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socio-economic issues, any topical issue of the day, any issue trending. As soon as we start that program, you too can pick up your telephone and give us a call. You know, the number to call is 442-0175. We on Facebook, Sister Radio in Carriacou, and we on YouTube. And on my Facebook page, you can also get us there. We believe in this program, people must be able to express your views and your opinion. We too express our opinion on any subject matter, particularly politics. We do. So you could give us a call. Today in England and throughout the Commonwealth and perhaps the rest of the world, a great outstanding leader had come to a final end. She was 96 years and she ruled for about 7 decades as the head of the Commonwealth. We in Grenada here, we are also a subject. Based upon our constitution, the Queen is the head of our country. And the Governor General is our representative. It's an act of somebody 96 years old and ruling for 7 decades. That is extremely significant. And she has seen perhaps a number of world leaders come and go, you know. And I think most country we could do is to show respect to her. There's a lot you could learn from the Queen, you know. I think a level of grace and able to manage some of the challenging times and even the conflicts in our own family for all these years. Some of us for about 5 or 6 years, we can't manage trouble. Some leaders can't even survive a 4-year term, much less to reign for 7 decades. You know, we in Grenada here and a number of other countries have heard some individuals making some very unsavory remarks about the Queen. And I guess they are making it because of a role in slavery. I say to individuals all the time, we cannot right the wrongs of history. Difficult thing to do. We cannot right the wrongs of history. Difficult. Totally impossible and not necessary. We could use history as a reference point, as a means, so we don't make the same blunder that we have made in the past. Britain were our colonial masters and was the main player in slavery. Sometimes I wonder if we're walking around with slavery on our head, as an excuse for all the mistakes, the blunders, and the failure we make. There are opportunities for us to succeed. I have great admiration for the British, a small country. Maybe twice, Guyana is about almost twice the size of England. But England was able to rule a number of countries much bigger than her and much more populated than her. And that is significant. The Romans once conquered England. For about 400 years, the Romans conquered England. Are you going to go and blame the Romans for all the atrocities they commit in England? The Moors, somewhere around in 711 AD, they crossed the Strait of Gibraltar from North Africa and invaded the Iberian Peninsula, Spain. So even African countries invaded Europe. You always had a number invasion going on from Russia to China, every country, all these big imperial countries. Even in Africa, you have countries fighting war with one another and trying to conquer the people. As our value system grows different set of value, different set of standard in the world. But you cannot right the wrongs of history. And I think the least people could do is to show respect for the leadership of the British, particularly the fact that we are all part of the Commonwealth. In Grenada recently, this social media sometimes is so good. A number of people that was objecting to our referendum in Grenada a couple years ago. Now, if you hear them since the Queen dead, time for us to come a republic, we must have a referendum. The very said people who was vehemently against the referendum and voted no 8 times on 2 occasions. If you hear these people talk now about the Queen, and sometimes you wonder, but it's a common practice. I think man by nature is basically evil and weak. You had a referendum when they was begging you and encouraging Grenadians from the time independence in 1974. For 40 odd years, we have a referendum that a number of individuals believe that we could have changed some aspects of the referendum. And we had an opportunity. And 8 times we vote no. And all of a sudden, the very people who are advocates of the no vote now advocating to change. For you to change the constitution in Grenada or any part thereof, you must have 2/3 of the people voting in parliament. 2/3 of the ministers voting must say yes. And when that is accomplished, Then you put it to the public, and 2/3 of the people voting have to agree. There must be bipartisan buy-in. The political parties in Grenada, the main political parties, must be at the helm, working together to get any aspect of the constitution changed. The last two main attempts should make us all and sundry understand that. You cannot change a dot in the constitution if you don't have 2/3 of the people in parliament. Now the government don't have 2/3. The present government don't have 2/3. So they can't change it. And they must have the support of the opposition. In addition to that, you have to go out in the public and get 2/3 of the people. Barbados did not require that. But I honestly believe if Barbados had to go to the polls, they would not have succeeded. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, my brother.
Good day.
Yeah.
On this constitution thing, I believe this continuing constitution reform right now. Because you see this pension thing needs to reform. My suggestion is that, look, we have the NIS. I suggest that the powers that be make NIS the sole pension of the land. Reform NIS. When I say reform it, I mean raise the price and adjust it. And call a referendum on that and try to make that the sole pension scheme in the land. And if it fails, get it there. That is my suggestion.
Thank you, caller. Caller, I respect your opinion. But to amend any aspect of the constitution in Grenada, you have to have 2/3 of the people in parliament. 2/3 of the people in the lower house have to vote. I think it's a simple majority in the upper house. But you have to have 2/3 of the people voting in the lower house. The present administration don't have 2/3. They don't have 2/3. And I do not believe, based upon the present attitude, they could get any buy-in from the opposition to change any aspect. And our people just about 2 years ago or more, a couple of years ago, rejected any change or amendment in the constitution. They rejected any change or amendment. So we must respect the opinion of the people. Maurice Bishop, when he overthrew the country and suspended the constitution, he still kept the Queen as the head of state. When he was asked, Bishop said he liked Grenada like the Queen. That perhaps would have put a damper on some of the budding communists in the Caribbean. In the last referendum, the trade union was not very supportive. The Bar Association was not very supportive. Some of the churches, or perhaps all the churches, was not supportive. The main political party was not supportive. So I think it's a bunch of hypocrisy. It's people speaking with forked tongues. Almost a paradox. And this is a common phenomenon in Grenada. Why do I say that? A number of the individuals during the revolution that was quick to tell you, comrade, you want to turn back the revolution. The slightest question you ask or objection you made, they say, comrade, you want to turn back the revolution. All of them in America. The majority of them in the United States of America, Canada, or England. None of our hardline communists went to Cuba to live, or Germany, or Czechoslovakia, or Africa. None of them. The very said people who was calling people CIA agent and was arresting people and put them in jail for being counter-revolutionary and was playing them as the best communists. All of them go to Uncle Sam country. Some of them turned preachers. And socialism never supported religion. I think it's what Karl Marx that said religion is the opium of the people. So anywhere you find communism, they want to close down the church. A number of communist countries, including Cuba, close down the church. The holidays that the church had on the calendar, they removed them because they don't believe in church. Even in Grenada, the churches that supported Maurice Bishop against Gary, Maurice Bishop turned on the churches to the extent that our local bishop then sent to Rome for help. Bishop was ignoring him with impunity. When he go for a meeting, he'll wait. And after that, Bishop cancel the meeting. The same individuals who supported the revolution sent them in jail. The individuals they call the petty bourgeoisie, they went in jail. Some of their children, they refused to give them scholarship. They say, well, you're too much a high-rank petty bourgeois. Some of them had to leave. A lot of people left the country. About 3,000 to 4,000 Grenadians left Grenada in the space of 3 years after the revolution. But the people who remain and help to prosecute Grenadians and lock up Grenadians and contributed to the worst crimes in Grenada after slavery and colonialism, they never go to the communist country. They go to the United States, to America, to England. These were the individuals that telling you, heavy manners, comrade, you want to turn back the revolution. So the very individuals today who objected to the referendum, they are the ones, if you see them on social media, writing against the Queen. The very individuals, they had an opportunity to change things incrementally. They did not even want a fixed term for the prime minister. They want no change. They did not even want Grenadians swear to Grenada, take allegiance to Grenada rather than the Queen. They said they want the Queen. But now they want to show disrespect to the leadership of a country. To the leadership of our country, they want to show disrespect. And I say sometimes it's a paradox. It's a bag of hypocrisy. And I think it also encouraged the younger people to be disrespectful. Even in war, there are rules. So you're not supposed to rape women. The war that's going on between Ukraine and Russia now. You have people watching to see if you commit war crimes because value system have changed. We learn in history that when the Caribs overrun the Arawaks, because the Carib, we were told, was more warlike, they would kill the men. They would take the women and make them concubines. And some of the young boys, I guess, they bring them to work as inferior because they were considered the spoils of war. After World War II, we started the United Nations and they made rules for war. Yes, it is abuse, but at least something is in place to put man in check so you don't commit too much atrocities. That is why countries just deny the atrocities they commit. So in Grenada here, sometimes I wonder, with the ease with which we change our mouth, and we have so much things on record. It is not like yesteryear when you could deny it. 1 minute. You have standards. There were people crying out in Grenada of political victimization. The same people who was complaining that NNP pushing the people, now the same people say they have a right to push theirs because it's their time. Over the last reign of NNP, I did not get the impression for 1 minute that the government was publicly agreeing to victimize people. Even if they did, I heard over and over, it is not NNP time. It's for everybody in the country. A number of ministers publicly saying, I don't watch colors. Who need it? Let them have it. But it seems as though this paradox, we can't get away from it. And that is why I believe it's so easy in a small country like Grenada with 110,000 people. Our population has not risen in any significant way in the last 7 decades. St. Lucia was 412 persons more than us. Now St. Lucia is about 70 to 80,000 people more than Grenada. St. Vincent has a bigger population than us. Jamaica population practically double. Trinidad, Grenada population has not significantly improved. One of the challenges we have in our society is because of the infrastructure we have vis-a-vis the population that we have. We have a number of play fields in Grenada, and we're doing more, rightly so. They are properly lit. We don't even have people to play in it. Some of our schools in Grenada are grossly underpopulated. So there's absolutely no need and no necessity for us to have as part of our policy political victimization. From the time post-84, I know of no instance, and I want to repeat that, I know of no instance when a government use the staff orders to fire individuals for their political role. I know of no instance post-84. There are instances when people accuse government for transferring individuals because of their political inclination. But I know of no instance when you could use and say, this person is going because of their involvement in political parties. No, we want better. We always have to strive. Every political party that come in power, we have to strive for them to do better. And we have been very successful from the time of Eric Gary. Eric Gary built 28 schools in Grenada in 13 and a half years. The Land for the Landless program. Today, Grenada have more landowners than any other country in the region. And I would not be surprised if it is any country in the world. Technical education. and also independence for Grenada and the St. George's University, just to count a few. Every other government that come, every leader that come, continue on the same trajectory. Continue dividing up land to create more opportunity for people to get land. Continue to invest heavily and significantly in education. Every other government that come, they continue. I don't make mention of them much because they're short-lived. And they would not have done anything tangible, very significant. But they continue on the same trajectory. And I applaud them. Under the Kit Mitchell period, we had a massive rural electrification program. And Kit liked to fix road to the extent that they used to accuse him, more concrete, more concrete. But what we need to do, we can't afford to live with life on one day. We advocate a position and immediately the government change. We change, we view on it. This is counterproductive. It doesn't help our country propel. And this is why always in this situation now, we had an opportunity to make amendments to our constitution. We refused to do it. Now we have an opportunity to show respect in the death of another leadership. To show respect. Our flag should have fly at half-mast. Our Grenadian flag should have been flying at half-mast. I don't know if they're doing it, but it should have been flown at half-mast. Because based upon our constitution, the head of state dies. To show respect is not whether you agree or you disagree. It's not whether you want a monarchy or you don't want a monarchy. The fact is, she is the head of state based upon the Commonwealth situation, based upon our own constitution. So it's just a matter of respect. Countries go to war, and even in war, countries calls for ceasefire, for exchange of prisoners and for them to bury the dead. Boxers go in the ring. Everybody want to win, but they have to touch hand. And that is a sign to wish each other's well. When you have the head of a government, you have to have respect. Irrespective of your belief, the Constitution of Grenada says that the Queen is the head of the country. So our flag should have been flown at half-mast as a matter of respect. This is not to say somebody from the Prime Minister of Jamaica that died. Yes, it's a matter of CARICOM. But it's your head of state. So your flag supposed to be flown at half-mast. It's your head of state. The Governor General representative. When we go to our honor list, we kneel down and to be anointed. That's the Constitution. The people of the country vote against change. You have to respect the democratic process. You have to bury your individual ideological perspective. You can't let the haters. You always have people who are counterproductive. They are the enemies of progress. They are haters. You can't let them sway you to be disrespectful to another country. Or cause you to be disrespectful to your head of state. The Queen in England is the head of state. We cannot right the wrongs of history. I mentioned this morning that Rome once colonized England for 400 years, from AD 43 to AD 410. And one of the reasons Rome abandoned England because they had problem in their own country and they were not able to defend it. So they had to call back the forces. Some of these countries invaded other countries for economic reasons. When Europe went to England, to Africa, African leaders glad to sell slaves. The African leaders were selling slaves. So we don't blame the Europeans alone. We can right the wrongs of history. It's better our children learn the game early and learn that you must show respect where it is due. You're not at war with England. You're not at war with England. You're not at war with your head of state. As far as I know, you're all in peace. So our flags should be flown at half mast. I know the Prime Minister made a statement. I've listened to one individual from Trinidad. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I am in total favor with you in this one today.
You got to talk a little louder.
I say I'm in total favor with you with this one today. I and you are on the same wavelength at this point in time. Right? I hear one or two statements made by people about what we are doing the Queen for, what we celebrating with the Queen for, what we sympathizing with the Queen for, why they spending so much time on the Queen and explaining about the Queen. And I see that as total hypocrisy. And I said it deep from inside. Grenada is a member of the British Commonwealth. We accept that. We govern under that. We got independent from England. Our laws are attached to England, and we live with that. So any hypocrisy now to try to pretend what okay we don't think and we blame the Queen for it. Totally the Queen cannot be blamed for it. The state that the Caribbean in, you cannot blame the Queen for it. The policies of England was so, and we live with it. Even the countries that are not in the British are not don't have the Queen as head of state, they're still members of the British Commonwealth. Trinidad,
Barbados,
Dominica, and many others. So this hypocrisy move, I don't support it at all. Whether we like it or not, the Queen of England have not done Grenada nothing wrong. The policies of the British government is like that, and the Queen have to abide with the policies. The Queen can change the laws and stuff. So let us stop that nonsense. The Queen cannot change the laws to suit her. So we can beg for the Queen. I'm totally satisfied with the thing that you say there. And again, I don't think any government have to victimize anybody, whether it's NMT, NBC, because they didn't support you at all. No government have the right to do that. And I stand firm on that. No government have the right to this, to put away anybody because they supported the other party or the superior party. All mouth must be fed. And I believe in that. If you are working in government and you openly criticizing government in a derogative way, well, you could face, you want to prepare that you'll be able to face dismissal or transfer. But if you want to say that the government do something wrong, you have a right to say that as a human being and a citizen. Because all cannot be right. I have never thought that Dr. Michel would have been sitting as leader of the opposition before he resigned. But it happened, and we have to live with that. Who don't like it, sorry, but we have to live with that. Dr. Michel is now the opposition leader in Grenada. We can't run away from that. That is so, and we have to accept it. Right? I have expected him to bow out as Prime Minister of Grenada. It didn't happen.
Why you? I'm interested in finding out what reason you expect him to bow.
What reason?
Yeah,
In what way you mean? To bow out
as leader of.
because I thought he had did enough.
You thought he did enough.
Yes,
Okay.
to bow out as the leader
Yeah.
of the but the voters didn't satisfy with that.
Because because
different.
Kit Mitchell seems to win in his constituency easier than any other person who could contest election.
Yes.
And it seems that his constituency have full confidence in him.
Well, not only his constituency. If you follow on Grenada, Dr. Mitchell is still a popular person.
And he is the most successful politician in the Commonwealth.
Right.
And he seems to be very healthy.
Right. And that does not mean that there are things that he did that didn't satisfy everybody.
But we don't have perfect people in the world.
Right.
So if an individual,
I am not satisfied that he end up there, but I have to accept it.
Yeah, but the same thing I asked, the same thing going on in St. Vincent with Rav Gonzal. Rav Gonzal is winning his seat. Rav Gonzal is successful. Rav Gonzal seems to be on the ground with his people. Then why people want him to go?
But Rav Gonzal seems to be a little bit more hostile in his attitude. Because I saw him on television speaking to the parliament. And he actually was asking for fight.
Well, they want to fight. He said they want to fight with me, fight with our enemy.
Yeah, he actually asking for fight. And I mean, that was, for a prime minister, I thought that was bad taste. The speaker was telling him to take his seat, and he was telling him, I want all of all you come, I could handle all of all you.
You didn't observe him when the volcano ashes was and he did into.
Yes.
And he even go in Taiwan, although they put a blockade around Taiwan, Ram still go on there.
So I think it's a little bit on the arrogant side. Well, I mean, that is his right. And
you think
but
these,
arrogant.
You think the level of criticism these leaders get perhaps make them like that? Help to contribute to the perceived aggressiveness?
No, it's harder because I think, if you remember what you said about Eric Williams take out hearing aid.
Yeah, he say take out hearing.
And Eric Williams tell him that that money can finish.
Yeah, he had money.
You understand?
You so all don't squirrel.
Different person.
Yeah.
Personnel. And people at that time, people were doing almost nothing in Trinidad for money.
He asked them to go back to work.
Yeah. They were doing almost nothing. I go in Trinidad, and when you pass on the side of the road, you see a little bit of bush, and they tell you the people go home already.
That time they call it
advantage on it.
That time they calling $100 1 cent.
So what happened to Trinidad is, different.
Yes.
Different. I think different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am satisfied that the Queen have done us no wrong. Right? I don't like the British policy, some of the British policy, but the Queen have done us no wrong. We can't blame the Queen for what happened.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our sister Omania Belle, as soon as the Queen died, the PM and the GG had a duty to Grenadians to openly speak on the Queen's death and order the flag to be flown at half-mast until her burial. I'm keeping this real. Yeah, I thought that they was kind of quiet. I know the official statement made out about it, but in addition to being the Queen of England, the fact that she served for so long, for 70 years, for 7 decades, almost 70 years, because she took the throne when she was in her 20s. For 70 years she served. So her family is worthy of speaking about. Whether you hate them or not is not the issue. When you find a woman who could keep the family together, too much of family disintegrating. Even in Grenada here, we have families that they have 8, 9 generations, and these families disappear. So you need family unity. And in small countries like ours, if you have strong families, you would have less social problems. I've been to the home a couple of years ago, the Father Mulligan home. I don't know if the home exists still. And you had about 30 boys in it. And I remember speaking to two young boys who was with me. And we had a discussion, why should these boys be in a home? And one of the simple reasons, we have weak families. Grenada have the most home for the age in the Caribbean. The most home for the age. When you relate it to our population, social scientists are asking why. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
Mary,
Yeah.
I hear speaking about Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Gonzalez.
Ralph Gonzalez.
Ralph Gonzalez. He is one of the most successful prime ministers in the Caribbean. You know why? This is a man, since he's coming for, he never lose one election. He will 16 seats once, and will 5 straight elections.
Yeah.
Nobody in the Caribbean could be more successful than him.
He never win all the seat.
He will only sit once.
Ralph Gonzalez and Vincent?
Yes.
No.
The time when Pierre win 15 seats.
No, Ralph never win all. Barbados win all, Trinidad win all, and Jamaica.
Should I never win all this?
Yes, they win all the seats when the opposition boycott. So the seats where they win all is in Trinidad.
Father win the seat.
It's Jamaica, Trinidad, and that time Pandey was giving trouble as a trade union leader. He didn't go in Pandey.
Pandey won his seat.
All right, we're not arguing that.
Jamaica never win 15 seats. No Jamaican president never win 15 seats.
Well, let us go and check back the facts. We don't have to argue on that. But only Grenada.
St. Vincent, we have gone down win 15 seats. The time Chief Mitchell win the first 15 seats.
But we don't argue on that. You know, there are some facts we could check. Okay. And if we could check facts, we don't argue on it, right?
Okay, brother.
Yeah. But thank you. Yeah, in Grenada is the only country we have a colony. Grenada is the only country in the Commonwealth where you have a leader win 15 seats on 3 occasions, while in government, while in opposition, and back in government. And Barbados, Mia Motley do it twice. I think it was done in Trinidad once and in Jamaica once. That's why I said, and Grenada is considered is one of the islands of conflict, you know, and Grenada, to achieve that feat in Grenada, is no easy feat. It is no easy feat. And now Dr. Kit Mitchell his party won 6 seats, but the 6 members of his political party, all of them, it is not the first time they win in election. So there is a very experienced opposition. In 1976, we had a 9-6. Gary won 9, and the Alliance won 6. Bishop led the opposition. And we're reading from Facebook, at the age of 26, she was crowned queen. She served until her death at the age of 96. Yes, and 70 years celebration was a delight. She got to meet the new Prime Minister of England, and she died 2 days after. You know, this is significant. 2 days after she met the new Prime Minister of England, is a woman, I can't name didn't come, right? She died 2 days after. So it's very significant. And after her death, all the prime ministers of the Commonwealth were informed before it was made public. They have the modus operandi. So Grenada Prime Minister was informed before the news became public. So as head, she is the head of state in Grenada. Whether we like it or not, the Constitution provide for that, you know. So I think We have to encourage our children to be respectful. Even when you go on the cricket field, the captain's supposed to shake hands. And even if you win the match, the opposition is supposed to come to you. It's an attitude we have. So when the Grenada, the night of the election, on the 23rd, between the 23rd and the 24th, Dr. Kit Mitchell engaged the Prime Minister and congratulate him and say to him, whatever the pecan we give one another, don't take it personally. And that was the correct thing to do. And then the Prime Minister of Grenada is supposed to send out the next olive branch and say the government is a government for everybody. The Prime Minister is supposed to do that. This is what we consider as admirable and decent, acceptable conventions. The Prime Minister cannot say, and I thought the Prime Minister, when he said he did not initiate the contact. It was not a necessary statement, but I consider it as very significant. He erred there when he said he did not initiate the contact. But I forgive him for that because I say he knew to these conventions. So there are certain rules. Yes, the sister Liz Truss is the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Thank you very much. So there are certain things that we have to tell our children. You have to respect the elder person nearby you. They might be disagreeable, but that doesn't mean if you meet them, you're not expected to show some respect. You enter somebody's house, you can't go to your shoe in your foot. The man has to take out the hat on the head. There are basic little issues, but as you go at the higher level and you reach in with governments, there are certain basic protocol or conventions that you ought to show. And somebody, you political activists, one of the individuals I think involved in the reparation committee in Trinidad or one of them, making all sorts of disparaging remarks. Unacceptable, unnecessary. Here we have a debt. The debt of a leader of another country. The leader of the Commonwealth. Your country, people agree with it. If they don't agree, they could change the constitution. The provision is made for the majority of people to change the constitution. Grenadians don't want to change the constitution. So we must respect the constitution in total. And I think this is what we need to do. And if we do that, we will have a better country. Our country will be better. We cannot let what happened prior to 1984 happen again in Grenada. We had the period of Eric Gary. I think Eric Gary did a fantastic job. The mistakes or the blunders he made, he set a new template. The revolution took advantage of it. But after 84, there are some things that must not happen again in Grenada. We cannot right the wrongs of history, but we could use it so we don't make the same mistake. And this is why I thought it's important to talk about these things. While I wait your call, you could give me a call. You could change the subject matter, or you could speak on any issue. This one, I'll read this one from Facebook. If wishing the government well, let me also urge the new administration to stop the posing campaign over and begin governing. Pictures are worth thousands of words, but talk is necessary for the peasants to be enlightened. Remorse should not be neutralized. The call for reparation, though. Okay. I agree generally with the caller. Once election is over, you have a lot of things to politic about. But if election is over and you continue, and I think the government they're still listening to somebody agents of the political party. The government of Grenada seems to be still listening to some of the firebrand militant agents on social media. The people who are advising them to prosecute supporters of the opposition party. I call them firebrand militant supporters that out for vengeance. They want to see somebody dragged in the street. They want to see somebody lose their job. They are not satisfied. They want some blood. So they behave firebrand every day, calling on government, time to lock up some people, fire them. And the government, because of the political juvenile status, they have to listen to somebody moderates in the NDC. Is one of the challenges the National Democratic Congress have. They tend not to listen to the moderates. They either fire the moderate or dilute their significance. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
These people and them living up to their motto. The motto is the heart. And the Bible says the heart, Jeremiah 17:9 says the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who could know it?
But the heart is what you use to fall in love to and good.
No.
And the heart is what you use to pump blood throughout the body. So we can't just quote one little aspect of Jeremiah. I think what needs to happen is that they cannot continue to let the militant arm of the party dominate the nucleus. One of the serious challenges, and I mean, maybe one day we could speak about that, particularly if one of the members of the National Democratic Congress would challenge me on that. We could speak on that. The National Democratic Congress seems to letting the militant arm of the political party dominate the nucleus. So they always seems to be either getting rid of, firing, or diluting the moderate members. And they would attract the haters, because the haters want a platform to gallivant. So when your moderate members is quiet and you brand new to the intricacies of politics, you will be led astray. And that is one of the reasons that the National Democratic Congress is the first political party post 1984 that resurrect political victimization as a part of the policy. No other political parties has done it before. No other national NDC leader has done it before. None. So you are the first political party. And I believe, I advocate that all those, you should cease and desist from that. Because you don't want that stain. You don't want that reputation. You don't want a piece of history associated with you. I wouldn't surprise that Ralph Gonzalez in St. Vincent never do it. Most of these countries have similar public service rules and regulations. Most of these countries. I wouldn't surprise if Barbados never do it. Now, if Trinidad do it, it would have been a race issue. Because in Trinidad, the accusation is always about race. In Guyana, it's always about race. But so I don't think it has been done in Grenada. I wouldn't surprise it was never done in Gary Days. And don't mistake political victimization for a government transferring workers to position of equal status. Every government could do that. But in this case, and based upon the Attorney General, This is part of the government policy. And based upon the militant members who still on Facebook, social media, and on radio, it is part of the policy of the government. It is the first time. It is the first time post 84 that any political leader has ingrained in the policy political victimization. And I do hope and pray that the practice will be discontinued, that the letters will be rescinded, it will be recalled, and then that blotter will be wiped out for your slate. You know? But we in Grenada, we have to, you have to want the country to go forward. Grenada has made significant improvement over the years, irrespective of people criticizing the country quite a lot. There are some areas where we're getting criticism that is unjustified. It is unjustified. Our roads in Grenada is narrow, but relatively good. Roads in England is narrow too. Roads in Dominica is narrow too. Grenada have one of the best network of roads in the region. One of the best network. You hardly have dead-end road. Over the last 10, 12 years, we double the amount of vehicles we have. It shows that Grenada have a lot of discretionary income. In addition to that, we had the best social safety net program in the region. And the government just finished build 10,000 toilets for people who did not have toilet. All these things help to raise the bar on the block. So while we have poor, we may not have so much a destitute poor, or at least there is a sponge on the ground to absorb the shock of the poor and marginalized. And that is good. That is great. So what we need to build on it. So if political victimization is not justified, it is not necessary, it is not called for, it ought not to be part of your political policies. But I think you have to listen to the older members or the moderate members more of your political team. And we always highly appreciate those who participate with us on this program, and we continue. There are a number of things we may talk about. We have one of the Jamaican leaders asking for the death penalty, and we will be speaking on that too, maybe anytime during the week. Or you too can make suggestions on any topic you want to speak about. We thank you very much for being with us today.
Battles waged and fought through victory and pain. By test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracum. The great and diverse be our ethnicities. The bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love. trust in your way. Today, as a people united, determined and steadfast.